Most bikers spend tens of thousands on their motorcycle and don't even get 5 minutes to understand if they're riding through a Mongols or outlaws territory. Today, we talk about the most dangerous places in America to ride if you're an uneducated biker. Let's get into it.
We run the night, we run the night, run.
Big shout to the Ghosts and the Ghost Sets. I'm Sos the Ghost. This is Demons Row. Let me know in the comments which city or state do you think is the most dangerous in the United States, in the world, to ride through if you don't understand how the culture works. Let's talk about riding through Texas. Before you throw your leg over your bike and cross that state line, you should know you could be riding past the Twin Peaks parking lot where 9 bikers never made it home. Texas is bandito country, so the patches you wear and the decisions you make can have consequences. In Texas, people take that shit seriously, but they ain't the only ones putting miles down. Clubs like the Homitos, Beast MG, Thug Riders MC also have built names for themselves. Different clubs, different histories, different alliances. But one fact remains: if you wear that Texas bottom rocker, it is no joke. That's why Texas has some of the biggest motorcycle club rivalries in American history. There have been years of conflict over who wears that bottom rocker and who has the right to represent a state. And if you're some weekend rider that bought some patches because you enjoy Kurt Sutter's work, you might be creating a problem that you don't even understand. And this isn't to justify the shit that happens, but if you learn one thing here, is awareness. It's good to know who's who when you go somewhere. Fuck what people are talking about on the internet. Doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. What matters is you making it home to your loved ones. And in Texas, many men have not. I got receipts. Ever heard of Waco in 2015? What was supposed to be a club meetup at a Twin Peaks restaurant turned into one of the ugliest biker shootouts in American history. Imagine if you're just out there riding, having a good time, and you get caught up in that crossfire. Within minutes, fists turned into gunfire and the parking lot became a war zone. When it was over, 9 people were gone, never to be seen again. Dozens had bullets in them, others got their ass beat. More than 170 bikers were arrested. That one day changed the way law enforcement across America looked at motorcycle club. And I know it's Texas, but in New York we have a saying: in a New York minute it could go down. Now, does that mean every ride through Texas is dangerous? Absolutely not, if you know what you're doing. Texas has some of the best roads in the country, and thousands of riders put down miles every single day without a problem. But if you're riding through Texas and you don't understand MC culture, Texas is one of the last places you're gonna wanna go to. Number 2, California. Hells Angels, Mongols, Vagos. If you're riding through California, the rules of 1% culture were wrote here. Legends like Sonny Barger, George Christie made the Hells Angels a household name. Outlaw clubs like the Satan Slaves, who terrorized Cali, didn't stay Satan Slaves, they patched over to the red and white. But if you're thinking you're gonna start one and enjoy California palm trees, and you're gonna throw on a 3-piece and claim California, understand clubs with a hell of a lot more muscle than you already did it, and it didn't work out. Some went to war with the Angels just to ride through there, like the Mongols, like the Vagos. This is where one of the biggest rivalries in motorcycle club history exploded. Men like Scott Jr. Erickson rode through there and had to put in work to establish their club in California. Jr. murdered a Hells Angels chapter president in retaliation for the brothers he lost, who just wanted to ride and not bow down to the Angels. So there was real work established here to be in that state. So understand, when you're riding through Los Angeles or Oakland, the colors you have on and the vibe you give out can be detrimental. Then you got the Vagos. Before they became one of the biggest 1% clubs in America, they had wars with the Angels to solidify their spot. OG clubs like the Chosen Few defied the race card that's heavily used in California's prison system. You got clubs like the Booze Fighters who were around during the Hollister riots that created this whole culture. You ride through California, you're riding through all that history. But if you move with respect, in my opinion, it is the most beautiful state in the union, hands down. And the women, some of the dopest you'll ever see. But if you wear the wrong pack or try to open up shop without asking, I'm telling you, it is one of the most dangerous places to ride in America, along with the driving there. Because people drive like their foot is taped to the pedal. Number 3, Chicago. Let's talk about riding through Chicago. You're not just rolling into one of the most dangerous cities in the world between the shootouts between Chicago street gangs and just the normal things that happen on the street. The fact is, you're riding through outlaw country. If there's one city you don't want to throw a bottom rocker on or wear some goofy patch, it is Chicago. The Outlaws didn't become one of the oldest and most influential 1% clubs in America by accident. They built their reputation right in Illinois, and Chicago is a stronghold. And if you know anything about the Outlaws, you know the name Harry Taco Bowman. For years, Taco wasn't just one of the biggest names in the Outlaws. He was one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives. These are the type of people that you're gonna run into if you're boo-boo the fool riding through Chicago not understanding the game. The government spent years chasing him before finally tracking him down in Detroit. That's the caliber of the names that came out of the Outlaws. Now you might think, so what? I ride wherever I want, I do whatever I want. Back in the 1980s, members of the Outlaws bombed the Hell's Henchmen Clubhouse. This was one of the biggest bombings in U.S. history. Forget motorcycle clubs, U.S. history. So that would be the ground that you're riding across, and the heat never stopped. Murder cases, drug investigations, racketeering prosecutions, undercover agents. Chicago became one of the biggest battlegrounds, the Outlaws and the federal government. Now imagine you're some biker from another state. You stop for gas, walk into a biker bar, wearing patches you thought looked cool. Thinking because nobody back home ever questioned your patches, Chicago is not gonna do the same. I'm telling you right now, there's no place like home. They are gonna cut them shits off your vest. Little advice. Chicago isn't the place to learn motorcycle club culture through trial and error. Whether you agree with it or not, that ain't the point. Awareness is. Knowing whose backyard you're riding through might be the difference between having a great ride and one of the worst rides you ever had in your life. So if Illinois is on your route, enjoy the ride. Just know where you're at and whose backyard you're riding through. Because it could be the difference between the story you tell and the story they tell about you. Number 4, Pennsylvania. You might think you're riding through Amish country. Meanwhile, you're in pagan country. Cornfields to your left, pagans to your right. Welcome to Pennsylvania. And it's tricky too. Don't let the farms, mountains, and covered bridges fool you. This ain't just another scenic ride. You're rolling through one of the strongest pagan territories in the country. They established themselves as a big four in this state. If you're some biker from another state thinking every patch, every clubhouse, and every biker bar plays by your hometown rules, remember I told you in PA, you will learn the hard way. The pagans didn't wake up one morning and become one of the biggest 1% clubs on the East Coast. A lot of blood was spilled. Every mile you're riding has decades of motorcycle club history underneath it. You ride through Philly, bump into the wheels of soul and not have your shit correct. See what happens. The federal government spent years building RICO cases against these clubs. So understand that PA is no joke. The Philly Warlocks are out there to breed. That's what makes this state different. You are riding through legendary motorcycle clubs' backyard. So imagine if you some Charlie Hunnam fan that bought a bottom rocker because you enjoyed the show and you pull into a biker bar wearing those territory patches, thinking nobody's gonna care because back home nobody ever did. Try to run that experiment for me and see how it works out for you. So if Pennsylvania is on your route, enjoy every mile. It's one of the most beautiful states you'll ever ride through. If you don't know where you're at, Pennsylvania has a way of introducing itself. Real quick, if you enjoy MC culture content, smash that like and that subscribe button and get your Ghostavelli motorcycle riding mask, Paisley gloves, Demons Row snapbacks in all colors, track races, we got it all, and you can get it on www.demonsrow.com. Let's get back into it. Number 5. Florida. You think Florida is all beaches, palm trees, and Daytona Bike Week? Bikers in Florida, no, there's a whole other side. If you're riding through Florida, you're rolling through some of the biggest gathering places in the culture. Now, don't get it twisted. People go to Daytona Bike Week every year. Hundreds of thousands of bikers pour into the city. More than likely, it's always one hell of a party, but things could change. Don't believe me? In 2002, during Bike Week, not exactly there, but the Warlocks and the Mongols got into a violent confrontation in New Smyrna Beach at a gas station that left multiple people shot. The investigation became so massive that law enforcement launched what became known as Operation Mongolian Beef. So that's what you could be riding into before you even unpack your saddlebags. Keep riding and you hear stories about Daytona, Leesburg, and where rival clubs cross paths, outlaws, pagans, kingsmen, forced patch removals, stabbings, shootings. Decades of rivalries that prove Florida isn't just another rally destination. When that many clubs meet up in one state year after year, history has a way of following them. Now imagine you're just rolling in with your crew to Bike Week, thinking every patch is just another cool vest. They sell them all over the strip, diamonds, all that shit. You stop at the wrong bar, you mouth off to the wrong person. You think because everybody's here for a good time, the rules disappear? Florida has a funny way of reminding people that rallies don't erase decades of motorcycle club history. So if Florida's on your route, enjoy every mile. Daytona is something every biker should experience at least once. But just remember, you're not just riding into another rally. You're riding into one of the biggest gatherings of motorcycle clubs in America. Number 6, Detroit. Let's talk about riding through Detroit. Most people pull into the Motor City thinking muscle cars and Motown. But what you don't know is, and you're riding through the home of the Highwaymen and the Outcast Motorcycle Club. Before you even shut your bike off, you have found yourself in one of the most respected motorcycle club cities in America. Detroit been wild even since the 70s. The Highwaymen were locked in a violent turf war. The Detroit Highwaymen were involved with bombings, raids, rival clubhouses, craziness. This wasn't two guys arguing in a parking lot. This was war over territory. So if you're riding through Detroit, understand you're putting your tires on streets where clubs fought to build the reputation that they still carry today. The Highwaymen carry so much weight out there, the federal government spent years building one of the biggest RICO cases in Detroit history. Then you got Outcast Motorcycle Club, who branched out all over the United States. You can't go nowhere and not see some type of Outcast. Before chapters stretched across the country, this was home. The mother chapter is right there in Detroit, making the city the birthplace of one of the largest all-black motorcycle clubs in America. So if you're some biker from another state and you pull into a biker bar thinking you're gonna start your own club, you are in line with the heavyweights. So if you happen to be riding through, understand where you are. I'm not saying that something bad has to happen, but just don't make the mistake of thinking that shit is sweet. Number 7, Arizona. You see cactus, bikers see history. If you're riding through Arizona, you're rolling through a ground that changed 1% motorcycle club history forever. Long before the Hells Angels became the biggest name in Arizona, or the Vagos and the Mongols pulled up, the Dirty Dozen ruled the roads. Then Sonny Barger came knocking, and he didn't come looking for permission, he came looking for patchovers. Some Dirty Dozen did, some didn't. Some Dirty Dozen members traded their colors in for red and white, others didn't. One decision split friendships, changed loyalties, and completely reshaped the Arizona biker scene. These riders who refused to patch over didn't just disappear. Some helped build clubs like the Desert Thunder, keeping Arizona from ever becoming a one-club state. So if you're riding through these roads, understand you're riding where some of the biggest patchovers in motorcycle club history played out. Think that's where the story ends? Not even close. Arizona became one of the biggest battlegrounds between the Hells Angels and the Vagos. Interstate highways, desert roads, and small towns all became part of this beef that made national headlines. The desert has seen enough rivalries to fill a library. Now imagine you come a biker from another state. You're looking at red rocks, mountains, and open highways, thinking it's just another beautiful ride. Meanwhile, you're passing through some of the most dangerous clubs that ever existed. Every mile you're riding has a story, and some of the biggest chapters in 1% history were written here. Number 8, Nevada. You see casinos? Bikers see Laughlin. If you're riding through Nevada, there's one stop every biker knows. Laughlin isn't just another casino town. It's one of the biggest gathering places in the motorcycle club world. Clubs from all over America roll into the same streets every single year. When you get that many patches in one place, history has a way of showing up too. In 2002, what started as another day at the Laughlin River Run turned into one of the most infamous 1% club shootouts in modern history. Members of the Hells Angels and Mongols clashed inside Harrah's casino. Gunfire, knives, 3 men dead, multiple people injured. Tourists running for cover. Imagine if you was one of those, if you was just out there riding that day. One of the biggest biker rallies in America instantly became front page news across the country. But the thing about bikers, we're resilient. You think that scared us away? Not even close. Bikers still come from all over the country to experience Laughlin. That's what makes this place different. You're riding through a town where some of the biggest names in motorcycle club culture all end up in the same place. Hells Angels, Mongols, Vagos, independent clubs, riding clubs, everybody eventually finds their way to Laughlin. Now imagine if you're some biker just rolling in for the weekend. You roll into a casino parking lot, see patches from every corner of America, and you think it's just one big party. Most of the time it is. But this is where the real danger lies. So if Nevada is on your route, don't skip Laughlin. Every biker should experience it at least once. Just remember the history I just told you, and that it's not just a gambling town. This is a biker town. So I hope you got some insight. Be safe when you're riding in these places. And thank you for tuning in to Demons Road TV, the holy grail of MC culture. Like, subscribe, and comment. And oh yeah, we ghosting, baby.